I'm all right, thank you, Moni. That's good to hear. Yeah. Um, you all right, people? Hi, how you doing tonight? Hope you've all had a good day. So, yeah, just was out earlier today. Hello, VB. How you doing? Hope you're well tonight. Um, went for a walk earlier. But Mama Bear. Went around the Yorkshire Wolds today, so had a good walk around. So yeah, it's been all right, thanks. But weather's been a bit cold today, so would have been better if it was warmer. But it is what it is. At least it didn't rain, so that's one good thing. Could have been worse, but yeah, would have been better with a nice warm day. But yeah, that's the thing with the UK. You just never know, really. Oh, it's hot there. Where are you from? Yeah, it's been a bit cold today, really. Like it was warming up and then it's just kind of gone cold. So you just never really know, do you? You never know. Hello, Andrea. How you doing? Hope you're well. Are you from Texas? Oh yeah, yeah. It's a bit different weather over there, isn't it? So like, yeah, just hope you had a good day today. I ended up like seeing some kind of quarry thing earlier, actually. Like it was like a nature reserve. So I went to that afterwards and then went back. Then I went for a bit of a workout on this like little equipment stuff. Like I had this kind of pull-up bar and dip bars and stuff like that. So I just had to go on that. So yeah, just hope everyone's doing well tonight. Keep the chat flowing, everybody. So yeah, let's just see how this goes, really. But it doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on in here up to now. So just got to kind of, just see how things go, really. So as to not really have too much expectations, really. Just yeah. But yeah, is everyone okay then? Hope you've all had a great day today. Keep the chat flowing, everybody. So you still there, Andrea? What are your plans for like the summer? Are you doing anything for the summer? I guess it'll start warming up over there soon, but I've heard it can get snowing like April and stuff over there, so it's like you just never know it. Yeah, it can be quite a mix, really. Hello, Stargazer. How you doing? So I was looking into like quantum mechanics and stuff like that, and there's a whole rabbit hole, isn't it? Really, not much going on. Just why is it dark? So I'm on my other camera. I'm on my laptop at the moment. So yeah, so I'm just on that at the moment. Hello, Amy. It's just the camera's not the best. But people were complaining about the audio not being good on the other one. So yeah, Haley, thank you for the likes. I was out today. Did you not see my live earlier? Did go live a bit, but yeah. Is everybody okay? Hope you're all doing well tonight. It's okay, cool. Yeah. Hello, Ewan and James. Hello, how you doing? Who's Ben White? Quantum mechanics. Yeah, talking about like the nature of reality and all that kind of stuff. Really, like what is it that kind of in terms of like this idea that that somehow material just kind of becomes self-aware, and that idea is being challenged, to say the least. I mean, I mean, there's some people like even some scientists who are challenging that, saying that that may not be how things work, because there has been experiments done that show the importance of the observer in terms of um, some of these experiments that have been carried out with showing how the observer is dependent for there to be an actual reality in the first place. Um, okay, whatever, just go away then. Yeah, well, if no one agrees with me, so be it, whatever, whatever. Well, I think that you're just projecting, to be honest with you. I think you need some help. The people looking, what you mean? And about the observer, yeah, talking about the universe requiring an observer in order for it to even exist in the first place. So this idea that there was this singular event of a big bang that just started everything, and I mean, there's a lot of assumptions there, isn't there? But yeah, there's anyway. Hello, the stats. How you doing? I do have Instagram. Yeah, I don't really use it much, but I do have it. I don't really talk to a lot of people on there. So, but yeah, I'm not really talking to any more people on there. All right. I don't really read books, but hello, Jonna. How you doing? Hope you're well. I mean, I look up things. I look up articles. I look up things like that. I find it hard to read through entire books. I mean, I've done like audio books and stuff, but I don't read them because it's just too. I mean, I should probably do it, you know, but it's just a lot easier just to kind of, what I mean, I don't any like watch videos or listen to an audio book rather than have to take the time to try and process all the information. But some say that you learn better if you read it, that sinks in better or something if you read it or something. But Reality Pill says lots of Karen. Hello, how you doing tonight? I hope everyone's well. Achille, no, I'm not married now. Yeah. Hello. Okay. I'm just gonna keep, being negative or whatever. But any negativity, we're just gonna get rid of it. So just warning you, if anyone's just gonna come in and talk crap, then I'm just gonna get rid of it. So yeah. So then don't say I didn't warn you. Don't get opinions from the net, my man. What do you mean? I kind of, yeah, you kind of have to, bro, if you got opinions about things like that. What you mean? What you're saying? You kind of have to what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. I'm kind of confused right now. I don't know. All right, thank you, J Biggs. Nice one. So yeah, what we all up to tonight? Man, there's 10 people in the house. So Say hello if you're watching, everybody. Subscribe if you're new here. Follow if you're new here. So a drink. I got cut off there, bro. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Thank you for the follow, Johnny. I don't know what the hell's going on, but there's nothing I can do about that. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm on TikTok right now, but yeah. Anyway. And follow with the other comments. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Stargazer still there somewhere. I thought they were coming into the chat or something, but I guess they were just stopping by or something, or what? I don't know. But yeah. But yeah, the channel seems to have been stagnating, so I've just got to try and go live more, I guess, because yeah, I've not been doing as much, so it hasn't really been helping it. So yeah, I just got a bit kind of, I don't know, sometimes I can get a bit demoralized and just kind of feel like it's just all futile and stuff. Especially with the demonetization, it doesn't help. But yeah, I know people say, "Oh, I could try and go through the whole process of getting it back," but I can't even be bothered. It's like I'd have to upload some unlisted video, and then I may have to like delete videos potentially, and it could still take a month for it to get. I'm like, fuck that shit. I can't be asked. Whatever. But keep the head up. Yeah, it's just difficult sometimes when things aren't really going right. But it is what it is. You just have to try and figure out some way. Like I tried, putting PayPal out, but hardly anyone's actually done that. So yeah, it's tough. But yeah. But I was out earlier, had a good time. Just kind of went for a walk around, and yeah, a nice sort of scenic route that I went down, and in the Yorkshire Wolds. I didn't go up any like steep hills mostly, but yeah, it was the walk was actually fairly flat for the most part. But thank you, Mark. So yeah, it was a nice walk. It was like a bridle way or something that went down, and it was there was this like little river thing flowing, and it was in quite a hilly area, but it was like I was in like this valley. It was quite a nice sort of trail that I was on. Right, I know all too well, hence why I'm here. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Thank you, Achille. Oh, Raul. No, I don't hate you. Hate's a strong word. Yeah. Anyway, is everybody okay? Adri, thank you for the likes. How you doing? Hope you are tonight. Yeah, sometimes I lose the context of like what people have said, like, because they'll say something in response to something. I'm like, what do they mean? Like, what are they talking in response to? Because there's this chat delay, isn't there? So, yeah, so it can be hard to follow what people are talking about. Anyway, all right, I thought it might have been a bit more lively than this, but apparently not. It was slow earlier as well, so I don't know really. Adri's from the Philippines. Nice to meet you. How are you doing tonight? So yeah, just see how it goes really, but yeah. I don't know if it's just. I mean, it's yeah. Hello, Mick Lloyd. How you doing? I am trying to read the comments. Trying to like, so I can read them now and stuff, but sometimes I miss some times because like I go on a tangent and kind of rant about something and then miss some comments, but you know. All right, we'll see you later, James. Hello, Gloria. How you doing? Hope you well. Hello, History Explorers. How you doing? Hope you're well tonight. That's good to hear, Gloria. Uh, cool. So everybody been up to today? Come across like got shit going on someone might relate to, but what do you mean? I don't know what you mean. Nothing I can do about it. It's your problem. What's that? I'm not ignoring you, am I? What are you talking about? I mean, sometimes I accidentally miss some comments, but you know, I try and read some of the comments. It's just a lot of effort trying to like get to everybody's comments while still trying to kind of talk about the things I want to talk about. Hello, Tiberius 1969. Can you describe your greatest fear? I guess death would probably be my greatest fear ultimately. Even though that's kind of like an irrational fear because it's inevitable and it's, what's the point in fearing it? But I guess sometimes I'll, look into certain theories to try and make me feel comfortable. Some people go to religion, I guess. Some people go to spirituality, but whatever you've got to do to try and make you feel kind of. But I mean, as in like, I don't know, whatever. I mean, you might have a point, but I don't know. But I mean, it's like, yeah, I've got like nearly 5,000 subs, so where are they all? Is what I mean. Whether they chat or not. What do you think happens after we go? Says Mandy. I don't know because I haven't got there. But what if you never really actually die? This is one theory out there that in quantum theory that maybe we never actually die, and that from your perspective, you might actually survive every possible thing that could have unalived you. You could survive it all. You read them all stop coming across like you're suffering from something and Discord people in your chat. What you on about? That's interesting. Yes, you just end up in a parallel universe where the outcome is that you live. Yeah, that's one theory that now, another theory is that you may, if your physical body does die, that you could just end up in a parallel universe where your consciousness continues in another meat suit or whatever. But I don't know because I haven't got there. So, but biocentrism suggests that consciousness comes first. That before consciousness, there's nothing. So, nothing to do with quantum theory. Well. well, actually, quantum theory, there's some evidence that consciousness actually is at the forefront of reality. So, yeah, sciences have proved that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, and we are energetic beings. Yeah. Well, some might argue that, oh, well, that doesn't mean that we continue in the same form, that some say that the energy just gets dissipated out into the universe or something that just becomes like stardust. But as in, like, in terms of the energy that, well, what is consciousness? That's the thing. It's like, what is it? We can't actually, it's not tangible, is it? You can talk about electrical signals in the brain and all that, but like, but we see, electricity and all that, but it's like, well, what is it that makes that conscious that's in the brain and stuff? I agree, but it does mean we stay around in some way, shape, or form. Learning every day. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Every day a school day, they're saying it. A big Hennos, thank you for the likes. Just gotta try to keep an open mind, haven't you? That's physics. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Quantum physics. It's you know. I feel like I'm just kind of losing brain cells talking to these people, and you fucking wonder why I don't even hardly talk to any of the people in my chat. You know, like maybe if people actually were worth talking to, then I'd actually fucking talk to them. And yeah, that's the question physics can't answer. Yeah, quantum entanglement. Yeah, quantum entanglement and like observer first principle and all that. Because well, there was the double slit experiment, but then there's also the many worlds interpretation, and they kind of like are a bit different because in the many worlds interpretation, the wave doesn't actually collapse, and that basically there's just like many different versions of you in different realities, but but whatever you decide, it going into like sort of it's like whatever decision you make, then you that can you know basically it's hard to explain, but yeah, no, I've not been drinking beer now. I think you're is an interesting, grateful that you are sharing your thoughts. Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is that a lot of people I just seem to lose a lot of people when I talk about this kind of stuff. Um, what's next? String theory. I don't know a lot about string theory, but it's like, um, but it's just that this whole thing of consciousness being the is foundational to reality. It's just it seems to be like an Occam's razor kind of conclusion, you could say. Do you believe what we can observe beyond that because of light? Does it exist as we will never see it? Well, I'd say we can't. Well, the brightness of light doesn't exist. Like the actual quality of it doesn't exist until there's an observer. Have you seen that picture of a photon that some university have managed to produce? I haven't. Um, it's because of light particles. You need to look at it interfere with the experiment. Yeah, that um, basically basically what some say is that without an observer, it's just waves of probabilities. But in the many worlds interpretations, all probabilities are happening simultaneously in different universes, and the observer makes one of those into reality. So it's not that they're collapsing away, but rather, so that's the many worlds interpretation. Anyway, thank you for follow Tiberius. So, um, I don't know any Arabic words. No, I don't know any of that. Mick Lloyd says correct. What's that about? And about the many worlds interpretation and all that, and the differences and stuff. But either way, it's like it proves it would, well, not necessarily prove, but it shows evidence that of the importance of consciousness in reality, in shaping reality, or at least it being able to choose the reality that it goes into. In biocentrism, it suggests that consciousness actually, well, basically that the universe is within consciousness and not the other way around. Like everything that you see is actually within your own mind. So it suggests that space and time are actually not an external reality, but rather an internal reality that we experience. There's constructs of the mind. This idea of space and time is it's like when we say, "Pass me that such a thing over there," but what if it's not over there? What if it's within your own mind? That's I mean, it's a bit of a you postulate. I mean, yeah, though there is like like I said, biocentrism. Robert Lanza, he's a his what is he? I think if I remember, he's a stem cell researcher or something. He's got some credentials anyway, but he's got a book on this. If anyone wants to check it out, biocentrism, which suggests that the observer, without an observer, that reality doesn't exist. So whether it's the many world interpretation or some other interpretation, that we live in an observer dependent reality. And this gets into what levels of consciousness are there and what constitutes an observer. Well, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. It's like when we talk about dreams and stuff like that, and you know, talk about dreams and all that kind of stuff, and like how do we know that dreams are any less real than the reality we're in? I mean, the only reason why this feels real, you could say, is thank you for follow dumb block. The only reason why this feels real is because there's certain like laws, you could say, that make sense. What's this? Babinski neuroscience, your brain knows what is going to happen before your conscience know what's that? I mean, does that really what you mean? Quite honestly, I feel like I'm wearing a VR headset and have only other senses when I think about it. Yeah, that's kind of like how I'm starting to feel like that this, because we can't actually see through the skull, can we? What we're seeing is within consciousness. So what were you saying? Neuroscience, your brain knows what is going to happen before your conscience knows what will. I mean, but that could be from like somebody else's perspective or something, or I don't know, like as in, how would we actually prove such a thing? I don't know, like as in, how do we prove that the brain knows what you're going to do before you know what you're going to do? Is that what you're saying? Like, I mean, I don't quite understand. Like, we probably are in a simulation, maybe. Um, So what you're saying is before we've even made a decision, therefore that means free will doesn't exist or something. Is that what you're saying? Or yeah, I remember they were saying that we only use a small percentage of our brain at any given time. One Jack Paul says yes. So I don't know. Maybe one theory is that about the kind of the idea that I mean, I don't know, it's all a bit of a mind fuck to be honest with you, this whole topic. Physics is nothing to do with the brain. What do you mean? What about the philosophical belief that all matter conscious is popularly known as? Oh yeah, I've heard about that. Was it called panpsychism? I believe that's what it's called. I'm not too sure about that. Hello, Mr. W. We Lover. I don't know. It's all a mind fuck. Um, so I'm just gonna see if there's an explanation for this. What you were just saying. Basically, that the human brain often initiates and prepares for actions, decisions, or perceptions seconds before the conscious mind is aware of them. Um, this suggests the brain functions as a predictive, anticipatory machine rather than just a reactive one, challenging traditional notions of immediate conscious control over actions. Um, but I'll see if there's a biocentric explanation of that. So let's see what it says about. Let's see, scientific evidence indicates that the brain, the brain initiates voluntary actions or forms decisions before the conscious mind is aware of them. The concept, famously studied by Benjamin Libet in the 1980s, has been further supported by modern studies. Studies. What's this? Modern studies suggesting brain activity can predict choices up to 10 or 11 seconds before a person consciously decides. So, yeah. So I'm going to have a look, see if it's connection to biocentrism, saying that suggests that life and consciousness are the keys to understanding the universe rather than just byproducts of physics. Opposing views, the neuroscientific findings of unconscious decision making often support a materialistic, reductionist view that consciousness is generated by brain activity, reconciling theories. While traditional science sees the brain as the creator of reality, biocentrism argues that the brain and space/time are constructed by the observer, potentially interpreting the delay as a function of how consciousness processes the universe. Controversy. Critics, including those on Reddit and some on the scientific community, have debated whether the observer in such scenarios requires a physical, biological, or quantum process to function, or if the readiness potential just means the conscious mind isn't the first part of the brain to decide. So, um, scientific limitations, correlation versus causation. Many scientists argue that this data only shows a correlation, not that the brain causes all consciousness. Reversibility. Researchers like John Dylan Haynes suggest that just because the brain prepares a decision, a point of no return may exist where the conscious mind can still stop it. simple tasks. That his experiments mostly measure simple, non-reasoned choices, not complex long-term or considered decisions. So, interesting. So not indefinite. Yeah, that's what it's suggesting. It would have to be. You've done 9 years in neuroscience and physics, um, so that would suggest it would have to be done on complex things, and not just. It says that the experiments mostly measure simple, non-reasoned choices, not complex long-term or considered decisions. So anyway. Yeah, so hope you're all well. You're looking for answers that agree with you. I mean, I'm just kind of like, I mean, you're giving me your kind of point of view, so I'm kind of looking to see if like there's anything um that challenges that, you know. So like I like to sort of challenge different points of view and stuff. That's what I do. So I look for like, okay, is there anything that opposes that sort of thing? Because maybe what you've it's like, yeah, even let's say you've done neuroscience 9 years, but then there could be certain dogmas held within that where they might assume that consciousness doesn't create reality or something, that it's this materialistic view that somehow matter exists and then pop consciousness comes into existence. I mean, like I'm challenging that view on things is what I'm doing. Anyway, um, me too, bro. Only way you learn. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You have to. It's like even if you say like an atheist or something, you should probably look into why some people believe in a god or something to try and challenge your point of view and vice versa. It's like whatever you believe in. It's like see like what the opposing view is on that. It's like, for example, some might say, "Oh, what? How come the universe seems like such a Goldilocks zone for life to happen?" And then the rebuttal would be, "Oh, well, maybe there's infinite multiverses where we just happen to be in one that supports life or something." But then the rebuttal to that is that it defies Occam's razor, and that the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. So yeah, you're just left with so many questions. This is why some people are into like absurdism, as in like this whole idea of that the universe just doesn't make any sense. Like logically, it makes no sense. Like, why are we here? Why am I here right now in this body, in this meat suit? Because science cannot answer that. However much neuroscience you've learned, it does not explain the subjective experience. It can explain correlations and terms of like if you damage a part of your brain that can affect your consciousness, but it doesn't explain why you're conscious in the first place. So that's why some people end up, then hijacking that and then sort of, going to like religion and, intelligent design, but then maybe none of those are true. Like, it's like we've been kind of given this false dichotomy of you either believe in the materialistic view on things like the totally atheistic, materialistic view versus the singular God version of reality where a God, I don't know what's going on with the TikTok thing lately, but it keeps freezing me. So is that any better now? Um, there are people wiser than us that can't answer that. So why should we? Yeah. Well, this is the thing. It's like, but you could say in some ways that some people have been caught up in dogmas that could cloud their judgment of reality. And it's like they only see it from the lens of, their own biases in a way. Tell me you're back enjoying the content. Okay, cool. Um, hope you're all well, people. I mean, one explanation I could think of is that the conscious observer um, would jump into the predetermined uh, parallel universe where that outcome has already been determined. So if we talk about like a deterministic view on things, then maybe there's a way to um, kind of, I don't know, sort of like, not that it's all predetermined necessarily, but that there is an you could say possibly that there's an infinite number of timelines that are simultaneously occurring, and and that the brain in that reality has already decided on the outcome, but the conscious observer must finalize it. If you get me. So I don't know. It's all a mind fuck, really. But so I could kind of like support what you're saying, but also like maybe there's a way to tie everything together. Like maybe it's possible that both of us are correct in what we're saying, because there's this whole idea of like where only one thing could be possible. The idea of, oh well, the brain has already decided. Maybe that's true, but that's in one reality. But then there's the whole, many worlds interpretations where the consciousness could still be the fundamental um, factor in it all, and because you could say, well, what is a brain without consciousness or something? It's like, what is anything without consciousness? But this is more philosophical rather than scientific. But the people talk about the double slit experiment, but there are other experiments that show this kind of similar quantum activity. So someone was arguing with me last night about um, what's that? Modern person that believes in any higher belief, religion is like language changed through Chinese Western. So yeah, I can see that in a way, but that's where some people argue about Islam being the same throughout history. But where did the original thing come from, though? I am not Zassin. Why is that then? That's not good. Um, what is going on with this chat? It's very slow, so yeah. But I know like people say, "Oh, you should stop." I mean, there's like not a lot in here tonight. I just noticed the views seem a bit lower than normal, so yeah. I might just try and restart, guys. I don't know. Yeah, control is a way that they, like why that they use religion and stuff. So basically, so it's about um, so about the readiness potential, um, 10-second prediction or something, and all that. Let's just see what it says here about saying about opposing views and all that. And I just read that one before. Yeah. The concept that the brain, blah blah blah. Let's see. Interpreted by yeah, many worlds interpretation. Um, in this framework, the brain does not simply react to an external world, but creates the perception of a linear, temporal, and physical world based on unconscious anticipatory data. So that could just be like, but you could say somebody still needs to observe the, like the 10-second delay. So that's the 10-second delays from someone else or from, I mean, I don't know. It's all yeah. It's just a prediction. Like there's like probability waves and stuff, but then there's this whole ongoing debate about free will and whether we truly have free will or whether everything's predetermined. Anyway, I think I'm just gonna wrap this up or something because I can't.